Sorry to my husband. I have another partner. He knows.
And so with these, there's a technology called Happy Toes technology.
If you put your hand on the inside of any of our Maves you're smiling because you're like, I feel something.
Spill the beans about Dragon's Den. Anything that we should know.
I really feel like I was not super sassy, and then they spliced a few clips of me together. I was like, cool.
So what's your advice for, other moms who are looking to start their own business?
Well, I don't ever use the word balance because it doesn't exist.
Hi, and welcome back to the Edge a Leader Show. I'm your co-host, Jackie Marson, and today we have another fantastic Dragon's Den alumni. She's revolutionizing the slipper industry by creating ergonomic slippers that bring comfort without compromising on style. Please welcome Dani Kagan, co-founder of MAVE. Hi, Dani.
Hi, thanks for having me.
Thank you so much for joining us. The shoe industry has, long been dominated by men. So we've seen it with high heels, where we've had, men creating shoes that are worn by women, which is a little bit backwards. So I've been really inspired by how MAVE is breaking that mold. It's shoes for women that are made by women. Can you talk a little bit about how both yours and your co-founders' grandmothers inspired the name of this brand and kind of their significance and legacy?
MAVE is named after my late grandmother and my co-founder Victoria's late grandmothers, actually, Mavis and Shayna. We really wanted to pay homage to the women who came before us, and also help women who come after us think about how they're going to build their legacies, how they're going to step into their days really boldly, how to build confidence in the generations that are coming after us using the confidence of the women that came before us. So that's really kind of like the ethos of the brand, like how do we help women instill confidence in each other and in ourselves. So we really wanted to build a brand where people can feel confident, not just by who they are, but also with how they're feeling every day. And we wanted to create a product that would actually make them feel good from the ground up.
Wow, that's very inspiring, and it's nice to see women empowering other women. So with these shoes, how did you ergonomically design them in a way that differentiates them from other slippers and other loafers that are already on the market?
So when I was building this brand in 2020, I was pregnant at home, like all of us. We were at home so much more than ever before. And I was walking around my house like barefoot way more than I ever had. And so I realized it was starting to take a toll on my body, and I realized it wasn't just pregnancy. Obviously that exacerbated it, but it wasn't just pregnancy. It was the fact that I was walking around barefoot on hardwood floors. And when I was trying to find a house shoe, a slipper that really had genuine arch support, that was podiatrist approved, that had orthopedic features, that was also stylish, I actually couldn't find anything. And so fast forward, I started talking to tons of more people, and they were like, yeah, I'm also having these issues. Like, I can't find a slipper that really makes me feel, stylish, chic, sophisticated, that I'm not embarrassed to leave the house in by accident. Because so many of us end up wearing our slippers accidentally to the grocery store to pick up our kids. And you're like, oh my God, I left the house in my ugly slippers. How could I do this to myself? And so we wanted to provide a solution where you felt stylish when you were leaving the house, and that your slippers could carry you through indoor, outdoor, daytime, evening, but also give you the actual ergonomic support. And so when I couldn't find anything on the market, I thought, ding, 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 this is a really good idea.
Mm-hmm. That's really cool. This make me think of a pair of slippers that I own, and my ankles will buckle every time I wear them because they have this like weird, heel to it, and it's so odd. So I'm really interested in this product because I think that would be helpful if you're wearing them every single day. If you work from home, it's a lot on your feet, and we don't realize how much support our feet need. They are helping our whole body move around.
Yeah, your feet literally support you like your entire body weight. And so if you're walking around, especially as a woman, I have to say, and this is why we wanted to create them for women first, women's arches can flatten during menopause, perimenopause, postpartum, while you're pregnant. So you really need that extra support to help prevent from plantar fasciitis or knee pain or lower back pain. And a lot of us think about like all the other parts of our body, but not what we're wearing on our feet at home on our hardwood floors. I completely agree. And truly, like when I asked my podiatrist, what can you recommend me? every orthopedic shoe that she recommended me was really great for your feet. It just, there wasn't anything fashion forward about them. Yeah. And so while I was working from home and feeling frumpy and pregnant and fat and gross, and my arches collapsing, which I didn't even know, I was like, okay, there's got to be something here, because I can't just wear this grandma orthopedic slipper anymore. I really want to feel like sophisticated and chic while I'm, going through COVID pregnant.
Yes, absolutely. And so with these, there's a technology called Happy Toes technology. Can you describe how that prevents overheating when you're wearing these shoes?
Yeah, so if you put your hand on the inside of any of our Maves, so you can even take one, if you put your hand all the way in, there's actually no fur. Yeah, you're smiling because you're like, I feel something. I feel technology. The technology is that there's no fur in the toe cap. Right. So and there's a beautiful microfiber you can feel. It's really nice and soft. What that does is it allows your toes to have more room to rest naturally in their state. A lot of slippers or other house shoes will just crunch your toes, much like a stiletto, and you didn't even know that. So we wanted to keep like the round toe shape, which gives you like a little bit more of a chic look, but also make sure that there's support inside and your feet can have more room to rest in their natural state. It also helps with ventilation. So fur obviously can get really warm, so putting that really beautiful soft layer in there helps with ventilation and prevents overheating.
Very nice. Yeah. Wow. And so with your past, you had launched a business about 12 years ago with, your co-founder at the time. And so how did that experience really prepare you for your current role now as co-founders working together?
Yeah, Victoria and I have been in a marriage for the last 12 years. Sorry to my husband, I have another partner, he knows. Yeah. I see Victoria like pretty much more than I see my husband, right. Which is, what co-founders do. Yes. So we were running two different event companies, City Moguls and Stratus Events, for about 10 years together. And they both started as side hustles. We were both working I was at a marketing agency, and then I worked at the Roots head office and an event production company. So I had different jobs in my early 20s, and I was always doing my event planning on the side. So that's why I always encourage people to go work for other people, see how businesses run before you get off and go and do it on your own. Doing that, working for other people, really helped me understand how to run a business, and just seeing like the ins and outs of how different businesses run themselves and learning from very different corporations. And then, once we kind of took the leap and said, let's do this entrepreneur thing and actually build our business, we spent so much time together learning how to not just like build businesses together, but actually work together. Right. And I think finding a partner that you can build so much trust with is crucial to having an amazing business relationship. And I also find like having a second brain in your business is so helpful. So building those businesses together and building our relationship has really been the foundation of, how successful Maves is going to be as well.
Right. And I think it also speaks volumes, like you said, working for different businesses and seeing how they operate, it helps, tenfold. And when you become your own entrepreneur and you're trying to figure out how to facilitate things on your own. So that's a great way to get experience for sure.
Yeah, I always say to people, like, go work, even just if you really have this entrepreneurial spirit, I think it's amazing, but like go work for someone else, even for a short period of time, to see how they operate, to see what it's like, to see what you like and what you don't like, to see how, what's your zone of genius. You learn so much about yourself by working with other people. Right. So I think that's like a huge piece of my journey, and I learned from really incredible people. So I'm very fortunate to have had some of those experiences. Obviously, I've had some incredibly interesting bosses in my past. I could probably write a book about it. Maybe I will one day.
You should.
One day. But for now, what I will say is that I also learned how I didn't want to be in my business from them.
Yeah, absolutely. It's good to get those takeaways. And so now when we look at your business, I mean, you were on Dragon's Den, season 18. So walk us through the journey. I mean, what was it like auditioning and then all the way to delivering that pitch to the Dragons?
So we had a really unique experience because CBC actually called us.
Okay, so you didn't have to apply, they directly called you.
Well, we hadn't actually even gone to market yet. They called us in April 2023. and they said that they heard about MAVE, which was really cool. So I thought we were too early on. I was like, you know, some of these companies that go too early, they get annihilated on the show. So I was really nervous, and then I said, you know what, we might not ever get this experience and opportunity again. Yes. This is a sign. We got a call. Let's do it. So we did have to send an audition tape. So we sent in the audition tape after we got that call, and then we were put on standby. So we were told that we could get a call day of, a week in advance, to come in and pitch to the Dragons. So yeah, that happened actually really last minute. We got a call at 2 p.m. on a Friday to get to CBC at 4 p.m.
Oh wow, very last minute.
Yep. So that was fun because I was at my warehouse in sweatpants and a hat and counting inventory because it had just arrived. Right. So anyway, long story short, hustled my way down to CBC and got there in the nick of time. Victoria came in from Burlington, also got there with like 2 seconds of spare. We got mic'd up and we got thrown into the den and pitched. And it was an awesome experience because we really didn't have that much time to get nervous. So, and we had been pitching and raising money for about a year. So we felt really confident going in. And I think being able to say that we had gone in having already pitched probably to 100 people really helped us. Yeah, sure. So before going into anything like Dragon's Den or anything public speaking like that, like go practice and go pitch to people.
Right, and that way if you get called last minute.
If you get that call, yeah, once you get the call, you're like, I'm ready, let's go.
I'm curious, how did CBC hear about you initially? You said they had...
Honestly, I'm not sure. I think that we ran a really cool Kickstarter campaign back in October, and it was really successful. We got a ton of pre-orders, so I think our marketing and our branding just really skyrocketed us to getting, you know, our name out there really early on.
Very nice, yeah. And now, is there anything, I mean, we can also edit this out after, but like spill the beans about Dragon's Den, anything that we should know that like viewers don't know already?
So one of the things viewers probably don't know about Dragon's Den is you're in there for like an hour pitching. Right. Like they show maybe a 7 or 8 minute clip, and we were in there for an entire hour. So they were asking tons of questions, like tons of stuff that doesn't get shown. Right. And you also don't know what they're gonna show. So it's kind of like a...
Yeah, a toss-up of what's it gonna be like when everyone, you know, when it airs and everyone sees it,
Exactly. So I think that's one thing a lot of people don't know. Another thing that a lot of people probably don't know is like, there's no like, hey, you're gonna get a call from the Dragons like the day after you film and start getting into due diligence. Like that's not really how it works either. We had to wait until our episode was aired to even like understand all of that information. And it was about 8 months from, 8 months? Yeah, almost 8 months from when we filmed it to it actually airing. Okay. So, you know, when you're going in and you're talking about your numbers, you almost have to like think about your numbers and what they might be in a few months from now, because from when you're actually shooting it to when it airs could be really different. So I encourage people to like think about their projections too, because they can inflate your numbers a little bit for TV. Yeah. And also it's TV. I think that's another thing that people forget. They're like, what's the deal and how does it work? And I'm like, it's a television show. Like, oh, did you actually say that? Like, did they edit this together? Yes, they did edit it together. Like, I look spicy on the show because like they edited it that way. Okay. I really feel like I was not super sassy when I was in the den. And then they spliced a few clips of me together and I was like, oh, they made me look so like sassy. And I was like, cool. Like, I'm really happy they painted me in that way, but obviously not everyone gets as fortunate. So you have to go in knowing that like it's television.
Yeah, that's a good point. I mean, they're gonna have it, even if it's not like quote unquote scripted, it's still gonna have that, you know, aspect of editing, and they can make their own spin on it. So good to know. Yeah. What was it like having Michelle as a mentor?
Michelle Romano has been such an integral piece of like our entire journey. Since we filmed, like she was such a great person and resource that we could go to for questions or help or introductions, and I really cannot say nicer things about Michelle Romano. She is truly like salt of the earth type person, and like what you see is what you get. So I'm like very fortunate to have her as a mentor, and since we filmed, we've been in connection with her, and she's been really helpful just, even for quick tidbits or, I'm like, how do I get my ROAS up? Quick tip, like need my Michelle tip. So she's been really great in that way. And I'm really like grateful that she has been such like a catalyst in helping us get to where we are today.
That's so nice to hear. Yeah. And so with, you have a podcast now that you've recently launched a couple months ago. It's called The Double Shift, and you talk about navigating work while balancing being a mom. So what's your advice for, other moms who are looking to start their own business and they're trying to juggle both worlds?
Well, I don't ever use the word balance because it doesn't exist. I don't like using the word balance at all with motherhood and entrepreneurship because if you are looking for balance, then like go work 9 to 5 and you will find some sort of balance there. Because running your own business and being a parent generally is one of like the hardest things ever. And I think you really have to be super passionate about what you're doing. Like if you're not all in that business, then you will make every excuse in the book to be like, I'll just like, I just want to be with my kids and I don't want to make sacrifices. And like, that's also okay. But if you really want to be an entrepreneur and like build a business, you have to be all in. You have to be really, really excited every day about what you're doing. Because you're really in the mud most days. Like you're in the thick of it, you're in the trenches, and it's not like all glitz and glam and what you see on social media. So I think like you have to be all in your business if you really want to start it when you're starting your family. And I talk a lot more about this obviously on my podcast with experts because I am no expert on how to be a parent while you're running a business. I'm kind of just coasting through most days. So I bring on tons of experts to really help navigate this really messy world of entrepreneurship and motherhood. And it is messy, and I think the biggest takeaway that I've found is being okay with it being messy. Like I'm picking up my daughter like a little bit late today, and like I used to feel really guilty about that. Like, oh my God, like I'm going like to pick her up almost like at 5 o'clock. Like I can't believe I'm doing that. And now I'm like, well, I'm building my business, and I think that she's going to be really proud of me. She's also 3, and she's not going to remember that I picked her up half an hour later. If I ever remembered that as a child, like, and I don't, then, and my dad was an entrepreneur, so, they're just not going to remember. And I think that's like a really big thing to just be like, I'm okay in the messy. It's okay that I pick her up at 5 one day, and it's okay that like my business is not running on Saturday and Sunday, so I can have my family time.
Absolutely. And, if she ever has her own kids someday, she's going to, understand it fully, and she'll be so proud of you. So, yeah.
I hope so.
So you had mentioned that, when you're building a business, when you're being an entrepreneur, being a mom, you have to really be inspired by what you're doing. I mean, surely you are inspired by your brand, but what else really motivates you on a daily basis?
There's a lot of things that like inspire me and motivate me on a daily basis. Obviously, the fact that like I get to design my life this way. Like I don't have to report to anyone. I get to report to myself. And obviously that comes with a lot of pressure from myself, because if I don't go out there and do the thing, I don't make the money. I don't put the bread on the table. But I really get to design my life how I want to, and I get to structure it how I want to. And if I want to take time and be with my family, I can do that. And if I want to work super hard and super late, I can do that as well. So I think like the thing that motivates me is like just being able to design my life in the way that like I really want to. And also like my co-founder like pushes me as well. Like we have such a unique relationship, and I think, and it's a really special relationship, and we get to like have this like really like awesome, cool like competitiveness where we're like in a good way, where we're so excited about the brand and how we can like bring it to life and do more incredible things with it and be more purpose driven with it. Like we both really value giving back. Like we had a whole meeting today actually about our social impact and give back piece, which probably when this is going live will already be live, but it's all about women stepping boldly and how we can help other women step into their days with more confidence, whether it's, supporting women who have been through domestic violence or in shelters. So there's a lot of work that we can do as a brand that can also help so many other people. Like at the end of the day, yes, we have an amazing product, but there's so many things we can do as a brand to like have so much more impact and touch so many more lives than we could possibly think of. So that also really inspires me. Like, how can we build this so big that we actually touch a lot of people's lives?
That's very impactful. That's awesome. Yeah. And so what is the future for MAVE's? Is there going to be an expansion of your product line? What else is the future? You hinted a little bit there, but...
Yeah, I mean, listen, we launched with our 2 styles, the Maya, the backless mule, which I'm wearing as well. Yeah. And we launched with the Audrey, our classic loafer, and we get asked a lot about men's. So stay tuned for some MAVE's for men. And yeah, I think that we love creating products that have actual benefit for women's lives and people's lives generally at home and on the go. So stay tuned for some new product lines coming up very soon.
Very exciting. And can you tell our viewers where they can buy the product and also where they can learn more?
So people can find us online. They can shop for MAVE's anywhere online. Check out our Instagram, LinkedIn, and yeah, stay tuned for more exciting updates from us.
Awesome. Thank you so much, and stay curious.
Thank you for watching the Edge Leader Show. If you know someone who's an entrepreneur or would make a great fit for an interview, reach out to us.